Storm Tracker 13's Marty V. Good morning, Marty.
And good morning, Kershaw. We still have some moisture out there, haze as well, and a beautiful sunrise is seen from Cheyenne Wells. Yesterday we couldn't see anything out here. We were buried in the low clouds, so we don't have as much of that out there as we had, but we do have the haze. You can see it kind of hugging the horizon line there, making for that pretty color as the sun's coming up. So I think we're going to have a pretty sunrise. It's just going to be a little bit different looking with the haze that's out there across the area. Temperatures right now are generally in the 60s in eastern Colorado. We still have 40s up across the high country and the mountain valleys where that air is drier. Had some dew on the car this morning. It's actually a little humid this morning across the area. It's one of the reasons we expect at least some isolated storms later on. Futurecast shows some of these breaking out here across the afternoon, and you see kind of a speckled nature to where the green is on the map. So again, these will be few and far between. Some of you were pretty fortunate to get some pretty healthy rain yesterday. Others had to deal with the hail as well. And I do think the storms will have similar character today as they move across the area. Highs generally in the 80s and 90s at lower elevations, 70s and 80s over the mountains and mountain valleys. So it's going to be a warm and a little bit, at least by Colorado standards, muggy afternoon, I think, here. And obviously still kind of hazy. I don't think we're going to have a huge threat for severe weather today, but marginal. If the strongest cells get overhead, you could pick up some 1-inch diameter hail, some gusty wind to go along with the heavy rain, and obviously some frequent lightning. So be aware of that possibility through the late afternoon and evening hours. But again, you see that these things aren't terribly widespread, so I'm not making promises for any particular neighborhoods here. But through the evening hours, a few storms will be out there. Then things should probably quiet down tonight with just a few clouds around. We'll likely continue with the haze. There's not really any significant change in the wind flow patterns, so I don't think that smoke is going to get blown out of here in any great capacity here over the next 24 hours. We'll wake up in the 50s and 60s at lower elevations in eastern Colorado. Most areas up across the mountains and mountain valleys would be in the 40s and 50s, but again, you get up high enough, a place like Leadville probably drops off into the 30s again with that real dry air in place over the western part of the state. So again, it's a little bit hard right now to see the sun out there. It's a couple of reasons for it. The real thick haze and the fact that we're a little bit farther west and need a little bit more time here along the front range. But that's the view right now, or lack thereof it, I guess, from our WireNet camera up on top of Cheyenne Mountain. That is a mixture of both the smoke and the haze as well as some of that humidity that's in the air this morning. But, you know, again, this week we're tracking less heat than last week. You know, I'm trying to be relative here. It's still going to be pretty hot. We'll have some isolated storms. We'll talk about that coming up soon.
And it is a little humid. This morning my windows were glazed over, and I thought it was because my AC was cranked up so high.
Yeah,
no, it's the
just,
dew.
Yeah, it's just the dew. It's a little bit of moisture in the air, so you can feel it, definitely. Like it's a little bit harder to get the house cooled off and, you know, sleep comfortably.
Yeah, it definitely is. I was like sweating even though it was the AC was so high. So anyways, well, up next, how